Good morning, everyone, and welcome to On the Couch, where you can find the vital conversation, vital content for our Black and Browns communities. So, this morning we have a very good topic, but before we get started this morning, I'm going to bring in my fabulous co-host. We have Miss Rajanta, Miss Sanella, and we're going to miss Miss Michelle this week, but we'll catch up with her in 2 weeks. So, let me bring on these fabulous ladies. I
There's a chair
found
right
out
there.
that
Sit in one of the yellow chairs.
they doing double duty. Look, Miss
Good
Rajanta.
morning.
So these ladies are
Good
doing double
morning.
duty this morning, as usual, serving our community because that's what we all about, serving the community. So hey, you two ladies, won't you tell us what you're doing this morning before we get into our topic this morning? What are you two doing?
So, in celebration of Recovery Month, the month of September is not only Recovery Month, but it's also Suicide Awareness Prevention Month as well. So, we are at an event in Mill Hill Park, Trenton, New Jersey. It's a free event. Mill Hill Park, free food, free activities for the kids, free events, free, everything. Starbucks, McDonald's, bouncy houses. It's just a platform for everybody to celebrate those who are in recovery and those who are still struggling. So, as therapists, we thought it was best for us to kind of be a part of this event just to promote recovery and wellness and, just overall great health and happiness amongst our peers in our community.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Sanella?
and yes, I'm also out here as well at Mill Hill Park, ready to celebrate with people who are in recovery, people who are struggling, and as you know, mental illness is usually connected to that, directly connected to that. So we want to address those issues as well as celebrate those who are in recovery and
Oh
promote
wow.
family togetherness and unity because we could all have a good time together, partying
Absolutely.
sober. Yes, we're about to have a good
Yes.
time
Party and
today.
sober.
That is
Yes.
awesome. That's awesome. So, this is what this is all about. Why we do what we do, why we decided to
Hmm.
go into the helping profession because it is a profession. It's not always built for everybody because you are sacrificing yourselves. And today you're doing that. You're sacrificing your Saturday to help others, and it's very important that we give back as much as we can to our community. So, I commend you both for being out there and taking the time out and giving back again. So our topic today is about beating the odds and winning. I think that is quite fitting for what you're doing today and who we will be talking to today. Now I
Hmm.
understand that we have Corey Ingram with us today, a clinical manager, right? He's a clinical manager of the Trenton Community Street Team. So we're going to get to know him, find out what he's done in the community. So I'm looking forward to him. So, Miss Rajanta, I know you know who Corey Ingram is. So, could you give us a little bit about him, and we're gonna get more from him, though.
Yes, I actually just met Corey not too long ago, but I know he has a powerful story. He is a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor. He's actually also working on his psychology degree as well, his PhD. So he is definitely someone of, I guess, a survivor, someone who really survived the odds and beat the odds, and not let, trauma and addiction get the best of her. And, I guess those shoes are just really hard to fill. Those tasks that he's completed throughout his life, and although he's been through many adversities, I think that he has really kind of come a long way, and he just has a great story to share, a powerful story to share, something that can help those who are still struggling, and also those who have family members who are in active addiction or in recovery.
Yes. Before I go any further, I think there are two other people in the studio. You two would have to go onto our YouTube or Facebook because I can't let you into the studio if you can hear me. Okay. So, Corey, I'm going to bring you into the studio because you are our guest this morning. So, we're looking forward to talking to you. So, good morning, Corey
Good morning,
Ingram. How are
ladies.
you? Welcome to
Good
the
morning,
couch.
ladies. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear
Yes.
you.
I want to say good morning. I want to say thank you for inviting me on into this powerful show. This really means a lot because usually I don't get recognized in the city I don't get awards appreciation. So this is the first time I've been appreciated for the work and my time that I put into this, and me just being able to come trauma with my life to where I'm at. So yes, I really appreciate
Okay. All right. So I know it's a little windy, but we're gonna do the best that we can, everybody.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
okay, so Corey, give us a little bit about your background. Drop your bio, please. Let's hear about you.
Can you repeat that question again?
Tell us more about you and how you beat the odds, because this is what this show is about: beating the odds and winning.
Okay, thank you. Well, the journey started back in, when I was growing up in the early 80s. And, at that time, President Reagan had the slogan of the war on drugs. And now there's a difference is that today is the epidemic of drugs, steady or war on drugs. So we had to really decipher on that. When crack cocaine hit the inner city, it destroyed families. It destroyed where that kids was taken from homes, placed in foster care. It tore up family generations. That's how powerful that substance was. So my mother struggled with substance abuse, and I was blessed to have grandparents that took me in. And the most powerful thing about that is I had friends who were taken away from their families and put in foster care, and most of them didn't survive foster care. And today, they probably struggle with trauma or some kind of form of mental health and substance abuse today from being removed from their families. So I had to take advantage of certain things. Living with my grandparents, my grandfather was an elder of a church, and my grandmother was a teacher at middle school, junior three. So I was able to maintain some form of education while my mom was doing her struggle. And at the time, I really thought that, as a young man, as a young kid, being an only child, I thought my mom was choosing the substance over me. But as I got older, I realized that it was a disease. It wasn't a choice no longer. So the best part about that, I wouldn't change my journey because it allowed me to recognize the importance of what is a disease when it comes down to substance abuse. Why is it so powerful? What chemical imbalance that the body had to refrain to get the substance out of their body. And at that time, Trenton didn't have a detox center when my mom was going through her situation. They had to close the detox center down. So through the grace of God, prayer, my mom beat the odds as well. She went cold turkey, and those were the best years of my life. She gave me 15 years of being clean before she passed away from cancer. My mom was a very knowledgeable person. She always had an understanding of forgiveness. And the substance abuse field, sometimes we hold over their head of their past events instead of moving forward and being blessed that they clean now or give them second chances. So I took the opportunity to go back to school. And going back to school allowed me to really open my mind on the importance of educating yourself about substance. Once I educated myself, I found a niche that the community needed. And what they needed was a black man, a black male therapist. And that's a rarity in this field today.
Mhm.
Many of the therapists are black women and black and brown women who provide services. I like to say I'm the unicorn that beat the odds, right? So
Mhm.
now after I finished my associate's degree, I went on to William Patterson, and I finished at my bachelor's of psychology. Further, I went to Capella University, and I went and got my master's in addiction studies. That
Mhm.
program allowed me to prepare for the licensure test to be a licensed addiction therapist. And then I went on and got my MBA because everything we do today is a business. So I had to get the business side of everything. So fast forward, I was working in the methadone clinic from 2014 2017 to 2023. And one of my good friends, Perry Shaw, gave me a call and say, "Hey, I got this program called Trent Community Street Teams. I need a clinical manager. I want you to be a part of this movement with me." And that was a great thing that ever happened to my career, because now I'm going into meetings. I'm going to see where the money is going, what programs are really working for our city, what programs are not working for our city. So for the past year, I've been going in and out of these meetings and learning. And through my journey, I met a young man. His name is Juan Rowland. He works for the state of New Jersey. He had the program called Empowerment House, where I'm currently at right now. So I hooked up with him, and then he introduced me to Miss Mills, right, the co-host of the show, and they allowed me to sharpen my therapeutic skills by allowing me to run some meetings under them in the state, and that allowed me to understand the importance of why they need Black and brown men in these positions. Uh, as of right now, I'm working with Trent Community Street Teams as well. Going into the schools is one of the things we're trying to work on. We're really trying to meet these families where they are. And our main goal is to really provide support to the citizens of Trenton. So we're trying to do different events. We do something called Safe Passage. Try to really make sure the kids get to and from school safely with an extra set of eyes. We are a external part of the public safety. We're not police officers. We're not crossing guards. We just a watchful eye. Another thing we do, we connect the citizens to different services that they may need. We get called to crime scenes to really reach out to the families in need. We connect them to different services that they need immediately. Um, that's more of the foundation that we do. And currently, I have to understand that this movement takes time. And it takes so much time to get things in order. And we know nothing is for free. Everything costs. So as a Black man, we're trying to figure out a way to raise money, find grants to provide services for the city on a way where that they don't have to be stigmatized. I'm going to have to mute because the music is about to come on.
Okay. Okay. Rajanta, I know I put you on mute. You can unmute yourself.
I
Okay,
just
yeah.
put myself on mute. I'm about to go to the car. Okay.
Okay. So, Corey, you gave us a lot of information. And you're right. Back in the day, in the 80s, as we were growing up, crack was very, very heavy. So it destroyed a lot of the Black and brown community. And unfortunately, a lot of people, even with their addictions, they end up going to jail or prison. Was and you're correct about the destruction of our families, and that was a big way to destroy our families, because a lot of our family members were productive citizens before crack dropped into our neighborhoods. So I do remember how that was, to me, an epidemic. I don't know about everyone else, but did you feel at the time as we were growing up that crack itself was an epidemic instead of what they're looking at as today, the opioids? They consider that an epidemic because it's hitting the white community.
I totally agree. And one thing that I understood about that negative movement of identify the war on drugs when it came to the inner city, to now it's a crisis right now for opioid crisis, right? So the difference is it allowed me to go into these meetings with Mr. Shaw to understand what programs are going to work, what's going to help us identify the problem and address it in a professional manner. And it's still difficult today. So if we go back to the 80s, how crack cocaine destroyed families, we still feel the effects of that today. So now we're in a position that or try to at least put awareness into it because we're already in a crisis, right? So if
Mhm.
you understand this, Once a person get clean off of crack cocaine, that's when their body start to fail, and that's what happened to my mother. Her
Yeah.
body start to fail, and to see her go through the cancerous disease, it was very hurtful. Uh, to see her go through this after she battled so many ups and downs in her life. So we still feel effects of it. We're still going through the situation right now, and we're just trying to find a way to bring awareness, educate families, especially the Black and Brown families, about the impact they have on our lives.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what? I just want to say that a lot of people don't get the firsthand look at what it's like to kind of be raised in a family with a parent that's addicted. What was it like for you? Like, what was it like for you prior to your mom being addicted? Was it different, or what was life like prior to her, becoming addicted?
Well, life was good. I was we moved to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, um, the suburbs over there for a few years. Went to school over there for a few years, and then we transitioned back to the city of Trenton, and that's when the addiction started to occur. Um, it was difficult because I was the only child, and I just have to really thank God for my family, my aunties and my grandma, because they took me in. They didn't have to take me in. I seen friends that took them from their homes and put in foster care, and
Yeah,
then when I see them now, they're struggling with a substance or mental health issue because of that trauma they did. What happened to them in foster home. I was blessed, and that crack cocaine destroyed generations of families. So what I mean by destroyed, because you know that as always was the grandparents, and they took care of their parents. When the grandkids came along, their kids, we always had that generation inside the household. What crack did, it took away that. But I was really fortunate and blessed that I had my grandparents and my aunties and my uncles, because without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. That's how crack, the crack cocaine took away from the family, and that's what is missing today because we got grandparents younger than me, and I'm 49. We got grandparents in their 50s. So that's the struggle right now. The dynamics is what it is right now. But that was part of the plan anyway to get the fathers out of the home and then destroy the mother for them to be a single parent. Now we put this substance in the community, and today is 2023. It still have that effect them today.
yeah. So what is a day like? Like leading up to that, like did you see signs, or did you know, or how do you really find out? Like what? 'Cause a lot of times as parents, we hide a lot of things from our children. We show a lot of things from our children. Like how did you know? How did you find out what was going on? How old were you when you found out?
Well, when I knew, when I didn't see my mom for periods of time, that was a struggle because she was a single parent. So when you didn't see your mom, yet that parent consistently, you knew something was up. You didn't have the answers, or you wasn't at that time. You had to be respectful. You couldn't ask questions. So when my grandfather played that role, I asked him questions. The questions was, "What's going on with my mother?" Uh, and he said to me, like all Black families do, he said, "You got to pray for her. You're going to continue to pray." So that's when I knew something was going on. And then as I got older to witness it, um, that's and I was about probably around like 13 and 14 years old. And once again, my family shielded me away from a lot of things until I got older to understand. That's when I started questioning my mom, what's going on, and that's when I understood that this wasn't a choice; this was a disease that she was going through. And I'm very grateful that I had that time with her to understand. That's why I went back to school so I can help, so I can understand this.
Mm. Wow. So I want to address or talk about trauma because that is also something that a lot of people struggle with or went your child, you don't know you're going through some trauma, because there is a change that you went through. So, what was that like for you when you look at the trauma itself? What trauma do you think you experienced? Do you think it affected you now as the adult?
But then I understand trauma now, but at that time it was part of our life.
Yeah.
We were so immune to the situation. We didn't know it was trauma. We didn't know we was being affected until as you get older. And I'm blessed that I learned coping skills through my education to deal with my trauma. But a lot of people wasn't fortunate enough to do this. It hit them today. But I was blessed enough to have a great family. Like that helped me. So you can imagine other individuals who didn't have a great family. So that trauma now I understand it. I understand that not seeing my mom for a period of time, not speaking to her, caused a lot of friction with me. And then I thought I disliked my mom, but until I understood what she was going through and understand again, it is not a choice. This was not a choice for her. This was the plan of our society to interject crack cocaine in our city and infect so many families. So now today I understood the trauma for that because I'm older. But at that time, going through my life skills with my grandfather, he shielded me from that. Grandma, my aunties, they shielded me from that right there. And by them shielding me, actually helped me. Uh, Yes, it put a little damper on my mom and our relationship, but it made it stronger when we reconnected. It made it so strong where that she was my world, my rock. I needed her, you know. And those 15 years of being sober, it really helped me to where I am today. So I will not change anything of what happened because everything is a learning experience. Everything. And now I'm in a great position. I work with a strong black man in Perry Shaw. I work with a strong black woman and Miss Mills. I am doing great. And when I always joke around with Miss Mills, and I'm in my PhD program, and I said, "You can do this too." She said, "I don't got time." I said, "Listen, look at everything that I do." And I call her boss lady down now. Boss lady, look what I'm doing. She laughed and just walk away because I don't want to hear that word can't because you just got to be consistent. So I'm like doing this podcast right here with you ladies. This is powerful. Look at this. Look how powerful this is right now. We in it. We got a black forum right now talking about things and the work that we put in with the community. That's one of the reasons why I balance Trent Community Street teams and I balance running my groups in the east with Miss Mills and Juan. This is like a win-win, and I want everybody to know my story because if I can pull through this, you can pull through.
Okay, so I have a question. Growing up, you said that you had a lot of anger towards or resentment towards your mom. So as you grew up, you learned, as you got educated, you learned that alcoholism is a disease and so forth. So my question to you is, did you experience any guilt? Because I see adult children at this, or adult, you're an adult now, adult children of alcoholics, and there is guilt because we have this thing, we love our moms or our parents no matter what. So was there some guilt in you? Did you ever experience having to deal with any guilt behind your anger or resentment that you had towards your mother during her active addiction?
At times I did. At times I did, but my grandmother, those grandmothers sharp, man. My
Yes.
grandmama was sharp. Rose Nora Ingram was sharp. She set me down real good and let me know this is what you're not going to do. And just having that leadership in our family, allowed me to really chuckle it up. This is part of life. Everything's not gonna be peachy and creams. And once I had to talk with my grandmom, that little instance of me trying to dislike my mom made me love
Mhm.
her more.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
like, I was like, again, ladies, I was so blessed to have my family. My three aunts, Tasha, Aunt Sunny, and Aunt Princess, they were the ones. And my mother, and my grandmother, I was just so blessed to have that. I really was. I didn't have time to have a pity party when I didn't see my mom because they didn't allow that. So I had little guilt at times, because I just missed her. I missed her. But as I got older to understand what was going on, and then I realized this is not my mom. And once I understood that, I used to go to the crack houses to get her out of there. I didn't care. That was my mom. I brought her home. I didn't care. I walked in there because I loved my mom. I didn't care what she was going through.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her so much. I just loved her. And that was just me and her. And I had a good support system.
Yeah.
I had an awesome support system. That's what made things so easy. And a lot of my friends didn't have that. They didn't have what I had. And to this day, when you get older, you get so blessed that you had a good family. No, we wasn't perfect. Yes, it was struggle, but I wouldn't change anything. And then when I started my journey of being a father, that opened my eyes up. Getting married to my wife, having 9 babies. It was going to school, having 2 jobs, going to school full time. You know, uh, Signing up for programs for Christmas gifts. You know, Sometimes we had to go to food pantries. But my kids didn't know these things because of the work my wife Belinda and I were doing, and the help of her father, the help of her mother. So I was blessed to really have good people around us. My daughter, 2 master's degrees, a school guidance counselor, soon to be a mental health therapist. My son finishing up his master's in criminal justice. My daughter working for the courthouse. My wife's daughter doing well. She's doing extremely well. Very smart young lady. I got another daughter in college, her first year in college. These are works that my grandparents and my aunties and my uncles put in me for me to have these conversations with you, wonderful ladies, today. I'm blessed.
So this
What
is
an investment. Go ahead, Sanella.
so again, we're out here, at this event today at the Empowerment House, which is to support families in addiction and recovery and things like that. That's all a part of it. But I also wanted to say, I felt like I had to say this. I grew up in an era where grandparents were still grandparents, but my age, but when people my age started having children, those let me see, let me get this right. So I had friends who were being raised by their grandparents while I was in school, and I didn't understand. I see now, no, not me, my kids, like my oldest child, her group, so she's 35, her group, some of her friends were being raised by their grandparents. I grew up where my grandma wasn't here, but most of my friends, grandparents, where you go down there for the summertime. You go away for the summertime, or you go over their houses, you spend summers with them. No, but when I had my child and some of her friends, they were being raised, her friends were being raised, some of them by their grandparents, which I was like, I didn't understand. Why? But it was addiction. I had known addiction. I grew up in addiction. I had known it, but I didn't connect the part with the grandparents raising the children. But I saw it, and that's what it was. You are right to acknowledge that you are blessed by having that support system. You had a major support system, and that's wonderful. but everyone doesn't have that, which is why we need to be out here and be more enforced and supportive to help those who don't have, or support the families who are helping. But guess what? People get tired of helping. They get tired. They get frustrated. So, we need to support those. I guess that's why they have the Al-Anon groups and, other groups to support families who are dealing with people who are struggling with addiction or who are in recovery from addiction, their family members. There's a lot of programs out there, but if people don't know about them, that's why we have to come and do these events and bring awareness.
Yes, agreed. And this is why we have to talk about what's affecting our communities also.
Yes.
Because if we don't talk about these things, then we're going to stay in the dark. So that means we're not doing our job as those that are helping. We're supposed to be helpers. We got to act like it. And that's what we're doing right now by being on this podcast and talking about this on the couch right now. So, Corey, so I do see that you do have Perry Shaw on here also, and then there's another gentleman on here too, Fathers and Men. So at some point I may bring them in here to have and hear what they have to say as well, because they're important as well, and they seem to be very, especially Mr. Shaw. You talk highly about him, so we will definitely get to him if he is willing to talk. So what I would like to delve into, and you and I alum for Capella also, because I'm a Capella graduate 2 times. Twice, yeah. So, clinical manager, tell me about your job and tell me about Trenton Community Street. I want you to really get into that with us today. Tell me about you and your job.
Well, let me tell you this. I was at Iron Recovery Wellness Center for 5 years, which is a methadone program on Perry Street. I was there, and I was feeling very depressed there. I wasn't sleeping, and Perry called me and said, "Hey, I might have opportunity for you. I will keep you posted. Just letting you know. Just be prepared when I call you." And I remember at the foot of my bed, it's 5:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. And my wife woke up. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I don't think I can go back to that job today. I had enough. I can't do it anymore." And it's ironically 6/14. And that's my mom's birthday. June 14th was her birthday. At 6:14 in the morning, Perry Shaw gave me a call. He said, "You ready?" I said, "Yep, I'm ready." I said, "I'm about to put in my 2 weeks right now." And that's one of the best moves I ever had made in my clinical journey. It was at the right time. And he allowed me to grow my own department. He said, "Hey, you have the license, you're the therapist, you do it your way." He allowed me to take this position to implement things like different types of forms that we need. Make sure we try to meet the participants where they at. And during that process, you have Jason Rogers, who's a supervisor. He was there too to support me, right? To support me in my clinical aspect. He connected me to different services. So did Perry Shaw. This allowed me to grow. And not only did it allow me to grow, it allowed me to meet different people. And that's how I met Ron and Miss Mills, right? So Miss Mills is just a saint on all levels. For her to be a leader for the state, they got something good, because she's and Juan are teaching me more about my clinical skills, even more. So let's go back to that methadone clinic. There, I was dealing with things, a crisis. So I couldn't do therapy. What I mean by crisis is every time a client comes to me, they was actively using, or they have an open DCP&P case. That's Division of Child Protective Services, and I had to figure out how to put out this fire, how to deal with their crisis. It was never therapy.
Never therapy.
Because So that's at the end of the day, come to me and say, hey, I used all my money, my paycheck. I have no food to feed my kids. A crisis. Hey, I spent my money getting high. I have my rent to pay. Crisis. So for nearly 6 years, I had to deal with crisis, not therapy. So by working under Miss Mills and Perry, it took my clinical skills to another level.
Mhm.
So when I do my paperwork, I know she get tired of me. I say, hey, read
No.
over this for me. And she said, that's a habit. I said, yes, because my professor taught me that you are a part of your department. If you look bad, everybody looks bad. So every time before I do anything, I finish my assessments, I finish my that note, I swing it to her. She's like, oh, Corey. But I said, get used to that because I'm a representation of you and I'm a representation of Perry. So I got to
Mhm.
make sure that I got all my I's dotted and my T's crossed
Right.
because we are a team here. And they allowed me to understand the importance of a team. That is so powerful when you understand you have a role to play and your role just important as Perry being the director of Trenton Community Street Teams and Miss Mills being the leader for the state of New Jersey. That is a powerful entity. And this is what I'm teaching my kids about teamwork, communication. It's okay to be wrong. Learn off the wrong. Don't hold your wrong over your head because everything is not going to be perfect. By being with black and brown people, I'm in the process of finishing my PsyD and to do other things in the community with their leadership.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Now,
Wonderful.
with the Trenton community street team, and like I said, I've only heard of it recently after meeting you, and I'm a native from Trenton, and I see all these programs going on, but I know nothing about them. I know that I hear different stories about them, and I know that you're active. You do pop-ups everywhere, cookouts in the community, book bag giveaways. Thank you, I got my baby a book bag. So what is it like kind of getting up in the morning, kind of doing those tasks around the city, and what's the day in the life of someone in the community street team? What do you do?
So, when I don't have any clinical work to do, uh, either Supervisor Jason Rogers or Supervisor Roberta Martin, aka Cinnamon, they would give me a call and say, "Hey, bro, we need you to do safe passes at Ninth Grade Academy." Or I get a phone call from Deputy Director Trent, who's a coach for Trent Central High School, assistant coach. I get a call and say, "Hey, we need you out here on post." So we go to the post. In the morning to make sure the kids get to school safely. And then we
So you
got
stand out front? Do you
we
stand
stand
out
out
front and greet the
we stand
kids?
outside the school perimeter. We stand outside. We keep our eyes on making sure the kids get back and forth freely. If we see anything, we report it to the upper management. If something happens, I report to either the deputy or the two supervisors, Roberta or Jason, and then they take it from there and make sure that resolve that problem for that kid in their family. That's we do everything. We just don't work with a kid. We work with the family as well. So after we do the safe passage, that lasts probably an hour and a half. Once the last kid walks in that building, that's when we are dismissed. So after that, we do something called a debrief. We sit around the conference room in Tenwood Street and we break down any events that happened over the night or we pick up from current events that we're already handling. So once we do a debriefing, we walk into our management meeting to break down how we're going to refer participants to different referrals. And this is the tricky part. I want to really thank the outreach workers and their supervisor, Ms. Martin and Mr. Rogers, because we had a system. We had actually sent our team to different programs throughout the city to see are they even worth sending our participants to. Because many times these programs say one thing but do another. So we had to make sure that when we send these participants there, they're going to get the help that they need, or we won't send them. And that was so difficult because there's a lot of programs. They say they help, in reality, they just collecting data to continue their grant. So once we figured that out, the supervisors will assign them to the outreach workers. And the outreach workers will tell them to fill out a pre-screen. And the pre-screen is just the basic information. Your name, your phone number, address, and your email address. And they have boxes on their form that say you check off what services that you are seeking. And many of them will pick housing or grief counseling, mental health, substance abuse, etc. And what we would do, we would refer them to the programs that we felt that's going to be the ones to help them. This is a tedious process because the outreach workers have to stay on top of not only the participant to make sure they got connected, but also to the program to make sure that they are doing what they said the services would do. So after that, we have something called we do once a month called a thesis, and this thesis is a community roundtable where we bring all the city council, the mayor, the police director, other businesses, and we bring up issues in that part of the Trenton. Like we have a thesis on the 28th, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, Perry. On the 28th, where that I would tell Ms. Mills, Juan, and other community partners to come to this meeting so we can meet at West Trenton. What is the problems going on at West Trenton? How can we help? So we come up with different ideas to strategize how we're going to really implement certain programs to help our community out. So we have these theses once a month throughout the city. So after that, and then we have our own events. We get like we do something out of Dolly Homes. Last year we had this big event with different community partners to come out and tell them what they do. And this big event was held in Dolly Homes Center.
Yeah, I think for those of you, who don't know what Dolly Homes are, it's a housing project in Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah,
it's a housing project. The projects.
So we have different programs throughout the city to really meet the participants where they are. But if Perry comes on and Mr. Rogers comes on, they can get some more in depth about that process as well.
Yeah, I'll bring them both on right now. Okay, Perry. Okay, there they go. Welcome to the couch, you two.
Welcome.
How you doing? Okay, we have fathers and men. Okay, TCST. Okay, and then we also have Mr. Perry as well.
Yes, welcome. What do you think is the most difficult part about? Good morning. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Perry, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first? I'll go first. Hello, good morning. My name is Jason Rogers. I am the chairperson of Fathers and Men United for a Better Trenton. We are a faith-based grassroots organization in the city of Trenton that has been around 16 years. I am also the HRI supervisor, HRI of Trenton Community Street Team, supervisor of Safe Pastures that Mr. Ingram, Dr. Ingram, explicitly talked about and eloquently talked about. We are a new public safety initiative in the city of Trenton through Al's Youth Build, A Better Way, which Perry Shaw is the CEO, and Fathers and Men, which I am the chairperson. Better Way and Fathers and Men have partnered for years. And me and Perry have been around the scenes, behind the scenes, talking about how can we get the abundance of funding we need to help our people that look like us. And through Trenton Community Street Team, we was able to do that. With that, Dr. Ingram popped right in, as he said, because we are going to make sure that when we serve our people, that we look like our people so we can fit the needs of our people. Um,
Hmm.
I am very in embedded in this process because, like I said, our fathers and men been around 16 years, and no
Okay.
one organization in the city of Trenton can fix the problems that we have in the city of Trenton. Trenton may only be 7.5 square miles, but if you don't have unity in the community, these problems will not be fixed. So we're coming together as one. We're working out here in the communities to do what we have to do to help the people. Presently, I am right now on the corner of East State and North Clinton, where we're doing a homeless feeding and also giving away clothes. If you can see it in the background, that's the only reason why I'm not with Dr. Ingram right now with Empowerment House that I am very pleased to partner with. I'm gonna give you a brief breakdown of Safe Passage before Perry gets on, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
get back on this grill and feed these people.
Okay, Mr. Rogers,
Safe Pass.
before you get into that, we would like to have you, we will book you on our show as well. So we can have you talk about all your initiatives, what you're doing. So I'm gonna be quiet. You go.
Okay. Safe Passage starts 6:30 in the morning. We're at all the high schools. That's Ninth Grade Academy, Perry Street, Daylight, Twilight, East Hanover, and Montgomery, and Trent High Bank campus. As Dr. Ingram already told y'all, we're just an extra set of eyes and ears looking for violence, looking for suspicious people out there trying to do harm to our youth. We want our youth to be able to get in school. We want them to feel safe going to school. We want them to feel safe coming back from school. We also want to be role models in the community that when they see us, if they don't feel comfortable, if they're being bullied, if they need a tutor, if they're not have proper things at home and they worried about mommy and daddy because they not able to be the best mother and father to their child, we build a relationship with them so that child can tell us their needs and wants and cares so that we can fulfill them and help them have not only a safe way to get back and forth to school, but when they get home, feel safe and be able to eat, be able to be educated, and be able to feel safe. And so that's my 3 minute spiel about safe passage. Um, Please continue to keep us in prayer. We will pray for y'all. The prayer works in many shape, forms, and fashion. And we are on the rise. We are coming back. And with that, I'll turn it over to my Dark Skin Coalition President, Paige Shaw, Director of Trek Community Street Team, CEO of Better Way.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
We're looking forward to talking to you next on the couch.
Yes, thank you.
Great job, Jason. Great job. So I am Perry Shaw III, Executive Director of Building a Better Way, and also uh, Trent Community Street Team. I do apologize. I have my camera on. I'm running around doing about 5 or 6 things as we always do. Uh, we kind of do things like Voltron. We kind of separate to get things done for the benefit of our community, but come together for the benefit of our community as well. A little bit about Trent Community Street Team. I know that Corey had talked a lot about it, and so did Jason. Our main focus is addressing trauma in our community. A lot of issues that stem from our community, as far as violence, as far as poverty, stems from trauma. We like to look at things in a holistic way and address things as a public health crisis. A lot of times people see trauma and violence in our community and just want to have a policing response. Our thing is about having compassion, about having empathy, about providing services for people who look like us, black and brown people. What that looks like is what Corey does every single day, is provide therapy, is to provide culturally competent therapy, provide with no looking at people, looking down upon people, but saying, you know what, I am you, you are me. We're here to heal together. We also provide different services for individuals who have been victims of violence. We're there on scene when a violent act happens, being there for people, because a lot of times when people are in a violent situation, you're not meeting them at their best moment. You're meeting them in the response to a traumatic situation. And so we're there being that light in the situation, providing services for their families, as well as the individuals who are victims of violence. And in some cases, we provide service for victimizers of violence as well. Because in a lot of cases, those who are victimizers of violence were one time themselves victims of violence. And the reason why they made that decision to become victimizers is
because they never received the services they needed to move forward and to move through this trauma. As you hear me say over and over again, trauma is at a root of a lot of what individuals in our town are going through. We also provide services that focus on self-development, helping people go from being renters to being homeowners, helping them to empower themselves and empower their community, empower their families, helping people understand how credit works. A lot of times it's not about just having cash or dollars in your pocket. It's about building legacies. It's about building that wealth that you can pass down to your family and to other generations. We also have something called community engagement. What that looks like for us is what Jason talked about, safe passage, being that safe presence at schools, being that conversations to young people who are going through issues and problems who might not feel they have anybody to talk to. But we're there for them. We're not only there for them, we're there for their families as well, helping them to link them with services they need in real time, not telling them where they need to go, but being that hands-on aspect, making that hand-to-hand contact, being that warm handoff, being that agency that says, you know what, not service, but we care about you to do the follow-up. In addition, we do something called community walks. We do that twice a month. We go to different parts of the city of Trenton, walk with community members, finding out issues and problems they may have, whether a light is out or whether they're having problems getting a response from the police. We address those needs and issues by jotting them down, getting the data they need. And how we do that is by having something called thesis at the end of the month. That stands
Mr.
for
Perry,
Trenton Health. Yes.
I appreciate everything and all the information that you're giving us. I think it's very, very valuable. Why do you think this information really is so hard to kind of get funneled down to the people of the community? Because, like I said, I'm a Trenton native, and it's a lot of information or services that I didn't know about. How hard is it for people to access your services? How can they go about accessing your services for someone who doesn't really know much about what's going on? How can they access services?
So what we like to do is tell people we'll give you not only a phone number, but we want to give you our website and we'll give you our address. But we also go to you. Our address is 10 Wood Street, downtown Trenton. Once again, that's 10 Wood Street. Our website is TrentonCommunityStreetTeam.org. And you talked about communication. A lot of times you have entities and agencies that want you to come to them. What we like to do is go to you. If you have an issue or problem, we're willing to come to you. We also have a hub in the middle of Donnelly Homes at 924 Southern Street. And so for us to break down that communication is to be able to be accessible. A lot of times people are not accessible. That's the issue we find over and over again. They want people to show up for them, but they don't want to show up for the individuals. And so that's how we can break down that communication, is making ourselves accessible.
Absolutely. And I hear a lot of stories about you guys walking like the beat. Does the Trenton street team walk the beat? And I know the beat is something that the officers used to do back in the day, but they would kind of get familiarize themselves with individuals and community. Is that something that you guys do as well?
Yes, we walk these streets on a regular basis. For us, it's about trying to focus on not just reducing violence, but eradicating violence. We know it kind of sounds odd to some people to say you want to try to eradicate something. We want to eradicate violence because we know our city can have that happen. The best way for us to do that is to empower our community and to have them to understand that it's not about them having a seat at the table. It's about them understanding that this is their table. We're just assisting them with setting that table. And so we're out there. So yes, we are walking the beat in a short form answer.
Wow.
Thank you.
This is very powerful information. And like you, Rajanta, I did not know. And when you're working in the field that we work in, we look for resources, but for some reason, we don't have them. And again, you know, it's a blessing to have all three of you on to talk about what you all are doing in the community. And as Black men, I have to say to you, all three of you, I'm very proud of all three of you because we need to make sure that we are, you know, supporting each other. And this is a part of it, how just talking and getting to know what's going on in the community. So I thank you all for your hard work. And I look forward to hopefully doing a lot of things with you all in the future because you're doing good work. So I commend you, all three of you, really. Yes, absolutely. And as I stated, you know, ladies, we will bring them all back on the couch, you know, together and individually. We did have, you know, just one of the comments there that they want to hear this better because you all are outside, they get a lot of feedback. So I was like, no problem, thank you for letting us know, because here we value all that are listening to us. So to all of our listeners, they will come back, and we will make sure that Corey Ingram is back, and Mr. Jason Rogers is coming back, and Mr. Perry Shaw will come back, because they have some valuable information to give us. So before we get to that stage of ending our show, I do need the three of you to at least give our listeners something to walk away with. And any one of you can start. And remember, you'll be coming back soon.
Corey, go ahead. By all means, sir.
I had to walk away again. Before I even ended, another one I forgot to mention our management team is Miss Heather Johnson Smith. She's the operation manager. The one thing we could take away from this segment is never give up. Don't give up. Yes, that was my motto, not to give up. And I'm here today because of these two other guys, Perry and Jason, because I never gave up because of the support of them and my other families and my friends, and also my wife and my kids. Never give up.
Okay, never give up.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Deacon.
You're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute. Okay. Mr. Shaw, do you have a takeaway?
Not a problem. My takeaway is that we're stronger together, and seeing people who look like us discussing issues that affect us is important. For a long period of time, people who don't look like us, people who don't live in our community, were making decisions for us. And so it's important that we understand how to address our issues, because we are our community, we are the people that we serve, and platforms like this and having safe spaces like this are important, so we can continue on to have a beautiful community and a beautiful city. So once again, great job. Please continue to do all the work that you do. I look forward to collaborating with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to bring this.
All right, I think I'm ready now. Okay.
Okay.
I would just like to leave with everybody, unity in the community. That's exactly what we need. We have to come together as Black and brown people to always be there for each other and hold each other up and keep our and have each other back. We don't have to have the police come into our communities to help us save our own people. We can save our own people. So what I would like to leave on this broadcast is unity in the community. Let's come together as one. We don't have to march, but we can stand.
Amen to that. There was one comment here.
September 30th, we're gonna be at the train station.
Do you meet opposition? I think that was a curiosity question for one of our listeners. So if any one of you can answer that, and then we're going to close up. So do you meet opposition when you are out there walking the beat, out there saving our kids and preventing those from dealing with violence?
How we deal with that when that happens, we just stay humble. We are trained professionals. We do not go back and forth with people, because, as my pastor, Elder Leach, always say, one day it'll be you. So when that person comes to us, we still welcome them with open arms. Of course, there's going to be some people that don't want to see change, because our people are so stuck in how things is now that they think it's just a common way of living. But when death hit their house, or their brother get locked up, or their sister get locked up, and they don't understand it, and they come to us, we still treat them with that godly love.
I just want to add one thing to what Jason was just saying about the ops. We don't consider it to be opposition. We consider it to be people who are stuck in their traumatic situation, no matter what it is. And we don't see them. We see their trauma. We address that trauma, and we listen. We don't come in and judging, saying, why are you doing this? We ask, what happened to you? What's going on with you? How can we assist you? How can we be there for you?
Yeah, you got enough people to serve? You need to help serve?
No, my sister here.
Okay.
Okay, ladies. So of course we have to have our parting words before the end of our show. So Miss Rajanta, I'm gonna start with you, Rajanta. What are you gonna have our listeners part with today?
This was wonderful.
Huh?
This was wonderful. It was very organic, very authentic. We are out in the community trying to do the work to help our community. So I want to say, everybody, stay blessed. Continue to work together. Continue to work together. I think anything is possible when we come together. We're more powerful than we know.
Yes, Sanella.
Yes, I also agree. Let's continue to work together, join forces. We are stronger together. I strongly believe in that as well. And let's continue to hold on. Don't give up.
I agree with everybody. Ditto, 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 ditto. That's what I'm gonna say. Because that's what we gotta do. We gotta stick together. And listen, when ants come together, and I'm gonna use that analogy because ants come together, they work together, they don't work apart. And even if they are one is out, you'll see them all follow. So we gotta work together to build, because that's what they do. They work together and they build that little mound, and you make a mistake and you step in it, especially the red ants, they will bite you. They're going to get you together. So that's how we have to work as a community and as leaders in the community. There's a lot out here for all of us to do, and we can hold each other up. So that is what we need to do together. And together, it is harder to break us down when we're working together. So we just got to remember that as we walk through. And to you, Mr. Corey Ingram, and I know that you're going for your doctorate, or are you a doctor now?
No, I'm still in school.
Okay, well, you keep it moving, because let me tell you something. That is a challenge you will face, but anyone can beat that challenge. I did it, you can do it too. So I'm going to encourage you. And when you have those moments where you feel like I can't do it, remember what I'm telling you. You can do it, because you are in the 1%. When you get there, you're in the 1% percentile of the elite to get into that space, and you can do it. Any one of us can do it. Okay, so just remember that as you're going along. And to the rest of you, thank you all for coming on to the couch, listening to us. Always, as you know, you can go to your favorite stream, which is Anchor, Google, because we're on all these streams, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. So remember, this is where you can reach us, listen to us after the fact. We enjoy the fact that you do go on after our shows are over, and trust and know that we see the numbers. We see that you're listening to us. We see that you are supporting us, and we appreciate it. And again, to you, all three of you, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Shaw, and Mr. Ingram, thank you for everything that you're doing into the community. And we are going to sign off here. Have a wonderful day. And you two ladies, keep doing what you're doing. That's the end of our show. Thank you for coming on to the couch.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining on the couch this evening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and if you want to contact Dr. Diamond, you may reach her at candidconversations.dr.d@gmail.com. Have a great evening, and we will see you on the next show.